Can you?
So let us start with that. Let me share the screen. The connection is a bit slow, so it is taking time to present the screen. Yeah, it is working now. So I hope the screen is visible now. Is
Yes,
it?
sir.
Yeah. Okay. Is it visible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So we are good to go. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
before moving forward, is there any problem related to the things we have discussed in the previous class, previous last two classes? Any problem?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
We have discussed the classification of data. Then this example we have done. Then okay. So I think in the last lecture we were discussing that the variable can be discrete or continuous. You can understand it from one thing. Again, I am taking you guys back to the uh, school time studies which we used to do during the ninth or 10th standard. That we used to get the questions. I mean, whether the question is asking for calculating the mean or the question is asking for calculation of median or whatever, we used to get the question mainly. One category was this, and second category was this. Are you able to recall? 2, 5, 9, 10, 10, 15, 20, 25. Are you able to recall? I mean, this 10 to 15, then 15 to 20, then 20 to 30, then 10, 6, 9. We used to get
Yes, sir.
questions either like
Yes,
this
sir.
or this, or some of these small questions like they used to give you a simple 2, 3, 5, 9, 10, and they used to ask you to calculate the mean or median or whatever it is. But the point is that that variable which we used to represent by x, that variable can either be a discrete variable or a continuous variable depending upon the property. And the property is that if this x, this variable can vary, can change by a particular finite value only. Means if it is 1, it can either go to 0 or go to 2, but not 1.2, 1.5 or something. It is called as the discrete variable. If this x cannot take any fractional value, then it is called as the discrete variable. But if this x can take any of the value within a particular range of possibilities. Range in the sense, like in our example, I have written 10, 15. So this 10, 15, this x can take any value between 10, 15. And we know that between two numbers there are infinite numbers. Like between 1 and 2 there are infinite numbers. You can go the way, I mean, in decimal places you can go up to any place. So one, from 1 to 2 there are so many numbers, like it can take 1.2, 1.5. So in this example 10 to 15. So if x can be 10, x can be 10.5, x can be 11, x can be 11.5, it can take any fractional or decimal value within that particular range of possibility, then it is called as continuous variable. Means discrete variable can change by a particular finite integer value only, and continuous variable can take any of the fractional or decimal value. So based on this property, the variable can either be a discrete variable or a continuous variable. Am I clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We can take a very common kind of an example. Suppose
Yes, sir.
x, let's suppose, let me clear it. Just a second. Yeah. So let's suppose x is representing number of children. So this, if x is representing number of children, it will be a discrete variable or a continuous variable. Will it be a discrete variable or a continuous variable? If x is representing number
So
of
discrete.
children.
So discrete value.
So discrete value.
Very good. Why? Because number of children can either be 0 or then 1, but not 0.5. It cannot take any decimal value. It can vary with a finite number only, with an integer only, which is 1, 2, 3 or whatever it is. But at the same time, if this x is representing, let's suppose, average height of the students in the class. So, is it a discrete variable or a continuous variable?
So continuous
So
variable.
continuous variable.
Because it
So it can be
receive
both.
any fractional value, it can take any decimal value within a particular range. So, based on this property, one variable can be discrete and another variable can be continuous. If it cannot take any decimal or the fractional value, it will be discrete variable, and if it can take any of the decimal or fractional value within a particular range of possibility, it is called as continuous variable. Yes, any problem? I think from example it is clear now.
No, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You can take this. I mean, just read. For example, if the survey about the number of children in a different families in a locality, then it will always be in a finite number, like one child, two children, or something. It cannot be 1.5. It cannot be 2.10. It cannot be 2.9 or something. It will always go for a with an integer. It will vary within finite integer. For example, in case of continuous, if we survey about the height of the students of a school, then it might grow from 90 centimeter to 150 centimeter. It can have a value like 90.5 centimeters, 100.2 centimeters, and etc. So from these two examples we have already discussed, so it is only written in some formal technical language, so it is clear. Yeah. Now this is number of rooms, number of persons. Right. One is showing as discrete and another one is showing as continuous. Because in one case we have surveyed that we have surveyed the different hotels in a particular area, and we have identified them on the number of rooms. So we have clubbed them together like 10 rooms hotel, 15 rooms hotel, 20 rooms hotel, 25 rooms hotel, and 30 rooms hotel. So in that area we have found that with 10 rooms hotel there are 5 hotels in that area. With 15 rooms there are 7 hotels. There are 3 hotels which has 20 rooms. There are 2 hotels which has 25 rooms each. Then there are 4 hotels which has 30 rooms each. Now this particular data is discrete. Why? Because number of rooms cannot be fractional. Cannot be like 5.5 rooms. It cannot be like 10.10 rooms. It cannot be like this. So it is discrete. But if on the other side, if we look at the continuous variable, uh, we have taken the weight from 60 to 70, 70 to 80, 80 to 90, 90 to 100 and 100 to 110 kg. Then we have checked that how many people are there who are falling within this range, how many people are there who are falling within this range, or how many people are there who are falling within this range, then this and this. So out of this 60 to 70, there are 5 people who have their weight within this range. Now these 5 people, it is not necessary that they'll have 60, 65, 67, 69. No, they might have a weight like 60.50. They might go for 62.25. They might go for 63.53. So the weight can vary with some finite fractional or decimal portion within that particular range. Range in the sense this 60 to 70 is a range for this, then 70 to 80, then 80 to 90, then 90 to 100, and 100 to 110. Is it clear numeric from this numerical example? I think now it is 100% clear that what is discrete variable, what is continuous variable.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
Good. So then we have to understand this continuous frequency distribution in a small more detail. So we have this range, like over here we have this 60 to 70, 70 to 80, 80, 90, 90, 100. So we have this class limit. This is 10 to 20. Now in this 10 to 20, one is called as lower limit and this one is called as upper limit. I hope many of you might be aware about this. That this 10 will be the lower limit and this 20 will be the upper limit. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
This is,
sir.
again,
Yes, sir.
we have studied it in the earlier school classes quite in detail. That this 10 will be the lower limit and this 20 will be the upper limit. Now what is class interval? The difference between the lower limit and the upper limit will be class interval. For example, in this case, the class interval will be what?
So 10.
10. How we have got it? 20 minus 10. Okay. So class interval is 10. Then what is class frequency? So we have done with class limit, we have done with class interval, we have done with this. Now what is class frequency? The number of observations or items or data corresponding to a particular class is called as class frequency. For example, this 5 is the class frequency for this 60 to 70. This 7 is the class frequency for this 70 to 80. This 3 is the class frequency for 80 to 90. This 2 is the class frequency for 90 to 100 and this 4 is the class frequency for 100 to 110. So the number of items, number of data, number of observations corresponding to a particular class, that how many people are falling within that particular range, within that particular class. This is called as class frequency. Is it clear to all of you? Yes, guys?
Sir, can you repeat once more, please?
Which one? The class frequency?
Yes, sir.
Class frequency is the number of items falling within that particular class. आप ये example देखिए और let me take one small example over here. Suppose I have given a class from 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60. This is the class. Then we have this frequency. Span 15, 20, 30, 8 or something. So this 10 is showing what? this 10 is showing that when I have done my survey, so I found that 10 people are falling. Suppose this class is showing the monthly salary of the people whom you surveyed. तो आपने जो सर्वे किया, the survey resulted out to be that 10 people were there whose salary was from 10 up to 20, but not exactly 20, because 20 will fall within this. The people who are earning 20,000 per month will come under this 50. But less than 20, 19.999 will always be there. But 20 will come over here. So there were 10 people who said that their salary was in this range. There were 15 people, their salary was 20 to 30. So this 10 is the class frequency of 10-20. This 15 is the class frequency of 20-30. This 20 is the class frequency of 30-40. This 13 is the class frequency of 40-50. And this 8 is the class frequency of 50-60. And class frequency is nothing but in number of items or the observations falling within that particular range. उस range में कितने data आ रहे हैं, that is called as the class frequency. Yes, Devonita, is it clear now?
Yes, sir. It's clear. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Anyone else has any doubt? Please ask. Can we move further?
No, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Then we have this class midpoint, which is called as class mark. ये हमारे काम भी आएगा. This class midpoint or this class mark is calculated as upper limit of the class plus lower limit of the class upon 2. Now, ये बात हो जाएगा. The point is that how to calculate this class mark and why we need to calculate it. So we have this class and we have this frequency 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, then 50 to 60. And we have this frequency 10, 15, 20, 25, 45. So this particular question, I need to find this class mark, and this class mark is nothing but work as the x, the variable. So it is quite simple. Just add the lower limit and upper limit and divide it by 2. So 10 plus 20 divided by 2, it is 15. 20 plus 30 divided by 2, it is 25. Next will be 35, then 45, and then 55. This is class marks. Upper limit plus lower limit divided by 2. Why we need to calculate it, that will deal in the coming sections. But how to calculate this class mark, it is quite simple. Just take the sum of the upper limit and the lower limit and divide it by 2. We call it as midpoint also. Is it clear with everyone? Any problem? No response means no problem or not attending?
No, sir. No problem.
No problem.
No, sir, no problem.
No problem.
So now we need to focus upon this. What is exclusive and inclusive method? This class interval, you might have seen that always in my example, I have taken it like this only, where this and this is always same.
Sir, your voice is breaking.
Just a second, might be due to the slow network connection. Just a minute, let me check. Is it better now?
Yes, sir, it's better now.
Yes, sir.
or still is it breaking?
So sometimes when you are speaking, that time it's breaking.
Please let me know then and there only, because we are facing some slow internet. So whenever the connection goes low, it start breaking. So we are fixing this problem and soon we'll be fixing it. So I hope now I am clear.
Yes, sir, now it's okay.
Right. So this particular upper limit and lower limit, we add them together and okay, we have discussed this. Yes, I was telling you that whenever I have taken the example, I always taken it like this 20 will be, this will also be 20. If this is 30, this will also be 30. If it is 40, this will also be 40. If it is 50, this will also be 50. Always in my examples I have taken this, but there might be chances that it is like this on also, isn't it? It can be.
Yes, sir.
So why I have not taken this? So this is what we are going to understand in the next slide, that according to class interval, the data can be classified by two methods. One is this exclusive method and second is inclusive method. Now what is exclusive, what is inclusive? Before going on to this, I want to ask from you if anyone has any idea that what is this exclusive method or inclusive method? Any idea you have? Don't think about right or wrong. Just tell that, sir, this is what I think it will be. No one has any idea?
No, sir. Actually, it's vague.
Okay, no issues. Let us take some idea. So, as per the class interval, data can be classified by two methods. One is exclusive and second is inclusive. Exclusive method is when the upper limit of one class is same as the lower limit of the next class. Exclusive method is a method where the upper limit of the one class of the
Sir, again network issue started. Your voice is breaking again.
just a second, let me switch on to the hotspot mode then. Wait.
Sir, not able to heard anything. What you are saying?
Just wait. Am I clear now?
हाँ सर अभी तो ठीक है पर कभी कभी गाड़ी के जैसा आवाज हो रही है हुर हुर करके.
It is because of the network, but I think now I have switched on to the hotspot mode. I'm using my personal network instead of the college one,
Yes
so
sir, now it's okay.
it will be okay now. And still, if there is any problem, just let me know. But I am hopeful that it will not be there now. It will be clear now.
No sir, it's okay.
Okay, so let me repeat once again whatever we have discussed in last 5 minutes, because the voice was not clear to some people. So we were discussing that the data, as per the class interval, data can be classified by two methods. One is exclusive and second is inclusive. So in exclusive method, when the upper limit of one class is same as the lower limit of the next class, like this, you can observe it over here. Upper limit of the one class is same as the lower limit of the next class. You can check it over. Upper limit of the one class is same as the lower limit of the next class. Upper limit is same as lower next class. Upper limit is same as next lower class. Upper limit is same as next lower class. This type of presenting the data, classifying the data is called as exclusive method. In other words, the upper limit is exclusive. It is not included. Means, as I told you, that this particular data is not including 10. It is including everything from 0 up to 10 but not 10. 10 will be counted over here. This is not including 20. 20 will be counted over here. So suppose if this is the data of some marks in some subject, so the student who has got 20 marks is in this 35, in this range. A student who has got 50 marks is not in this, it is in this 60. Are you getting my point? What is exclusive method? The upper limit is not included.
Yes, sir.
Upper limit is exclusive, it is not included. This way of presenting the data is called as exclusive method, where the upper limit is not included in the data. Yes. Any problem?
No, sir.
Okay. I want response from others also, because only
Yes, sir.
Abhijit
No,
and
sir.
okay, no problem. So then what is inclusive method? You can check it from the example, or when upper limit is included in that class itself, it is called as inclusive method, like this. So over here you can observe that it is 29 but it is not 29, it is 30. So over here it is this 29 is included over in this only. So this 10 is including all the data which is also the 29 from 25 to 29. From 30 to 34 it is this. From 35 to 39 it is this. So over here this upper limit is not same as this lower limit. This upper limit is not same as this lower limit. This upper limit is not same as this lower limit. This is what we call inclusive method. So exclusive method, just for a summarized way, exclusive method is a way of presenting when the upper limit is not included in that particular class, but the inclusive method when the upper limit is included in that particular class itself. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Now you might recall that most of the questions in statistics, or not most of the, in almost all the question of statistics, we have used exclusive method or inclusive method. Which method we have used? Abhi tak, when in your school time, in your graduation time, you have studied statistics. Somewhere in your any of your subject. Which method they have used? Which method we have used? Exclusive method or inclusive method?
Exclusive.
Exclusive.
So exclusive.
Yes,
So mostly exclusive.
mostly exclusive. And whenever we used to get the question based on inclusive method, we used to convert it into the exclusive one. This is what we have also done in our school days. That how to convert this inclusive to exclusive. Because whatever tools, statistical tools, whatever method we were using, we always tend to use them on exclusive method only. So by chance, if the question is of inclusive method, we used to convert it into the exclusive method. And how to convert it? This is how we can convert it. And why we convert it? In this note, we have mentioned it that in order to ensure continuity and get correct class interval, we should adopt exclusive method of classification. We should always adopt exclusive method of classification. Why? In order to ensure the continuity. Converting inclusive series into exclusive series, we calculate the correction factor. Now what is correction factor? This we have also done in our school time, but uska technical name हमें पता नहीं होता था. We used to be unaware about the what we call it. So that is called as correction factor, and the correction factor can be calculated as lower limit of the second class minus upper limit of the first class. We'll do a practical example of this, don't worry. Lower limit of the second class minus upper limit of the first class divided by 2. Now what we'll do with this correction factor? Subtract the correction factor from all the lower limit. जितनी भी lower limits हैं उनमें से हम उसे minus कर देंगे and we will add this correction factor to all the upper limits. So subtract this correction factor from all the lower limits and add this correction factor to all the upper limits like this. Don't look at to the right side, just focus upon this right now. This particular data is being represented by inclusive method or exclusive method. The left side table. Is it the
Inclusive, sir.
Inclusive.
Inclusive.
Yes, it is inclusive. Now we need to convert it into the exclusive. This is inclusive and we need to convert it into the exclusive. So for that we need to calculate the correction factor. So that correction factor we have mentioned that lower limit of the second class minus upper limit of the first class divided by 2. So lower limit of the second class it is 30 minus upper limit of the first class it is 29 divided by 2. 1 by 2 which is 0.5. Now we have got this correction factor and it is saying that subtract the correction factor from all the lower limits and add the correction factor to all the upper limits. So subtract the correction factor from all the lower limits. We have this lower limit. All these are lower limits. So subtract this correction factor. So 25 minus 0.5 it is 24.5. 30 minus 0.5 it is 29.5. 35 minus 0.5 it is 34.5. 40 minus 0.5 39.5. 45 minus 0.5 44.5 and 50 minus 0.5 49.5. And it is also stating that add this correction factor on all the upper limits. So we'll add them. So 29 plus 5 29.5. 34 plus 0.5 34.5 39.5 34.5. So now you can check that now the upper limit of the previous class is same as the lower limit of the next class. You can take any of, you can observe any of the two classes, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is what it is converted into the exclusive, from inclusive to exclusive. Frequency will remain the same. In order to ensure the continuity in the data, we always tend to apply all these statistical methods and tools only onto the exclusive data series. If it is inclusive, we will convert it by using this correction factor into the Abhijit, please mute yourself. Yeah, thank you. So, is there any problem?
No, sir.
No problem.
No, sir.
So this is all we have done with the, I think this is the last slide, yeah. With the basics of statistics, the basic understanding of statistics, what is data, what are the different classification of data, what is variable, what are the different variable, what is continuous variable, what is discrete variable and all that. So that is all for today. In the next class, we will be moving forward to some of the other basic topics. So that's all. In case if you have any problem, you can always reach out to me. I will post this particular presentation onto the Google Classroom. I hope you guys have joined that Google Classroom through that entire process, and the code I have posted in the group. Has anyone checked that
Yes,
message?
sir.
Yeah. So be connected on that. You will be receiving all the material, all the assignments through that only, right?